Most homeowners I speak to who want to renovate their home tell me that they'd like to start construction in the next 12 months. Is that a reasonable time frame for the average renovation? Of course, there's no straightforward answer because it depends on several factors that I will explain in today's post. Welcome to the show. Today's episode is all about timing for your renovation project, and it's an important topic because everybody wants their dream home yesterday. Once we get the idea in our head and the budget in our account, we don't want to be patient anymore. We want that gorgeous kitchen and cozy fireplace immediately. And when we start visualizing ourselves in that future space, we begin to believe in some weird way that we already have it. And it's just a few technicalities in the way of achieving it. And can't we just have it already? How complicated can it be, right? Of course, there are many factors to consider. Before we dive into the factors, here's a short excerpt from a previous masterclass that I held, and it's going to review the concept and application of lead time in a home renovation. This short video will help you frame your reno according to this concept and help you determine how much lead time you actually need before you'll be ready to start construction. I'm not actually sure when I'll renovate. It could be a few years from now, so maybe I should wait. Okay, I love this one. Get ready. There is this principle in life, and specifically in project management, called lead time. And that is the latency or delay from the day that you start a process, like say ordering something, to the time that that process is completed. So it could be receiving the order of the thing that you just bought. Lead times in construction right now are typically really long. Longer than they have ever been. Companies are still catching up from COVID shutdowns and the increased demand that surfaced during that time period. So for instance, the average window and door manufacturer actually needs between 4 and 8 months to deliver them from the time you order. 8 months. But what has to happen before those 8 months can start counting down? If you're installing a big window wall where there never was one before, then you're making structural changes. So you're going to need a permit. In some locations, that permit could take a couple of weeks or closer to 6 months or more if you need special planning permission because it breaks a bylaw or you have a historical home or any such reason that your jurisdiction gives you for slowing things down. And there are so many. So let's add another 6 months to our timeline for the permit. And before you can apply for the permit, you need to complete all your initial planning work that is covered from start to finish inside Renovation Planning Academy. And even though a renovation plan can be done really quickly by someone who either has a lot of time or already works in the industry and so therefore already knows where to source things, I like to recommend to students that you allocate about 3 months of time for this passive planning. Since this is your dream home and it's not something that you should want to or need to rush. Of course, you can get instant access to the entire course when you sign up, so you can dive in and complete the work as quickly as you want. But I like to suggest a 90-day turnaround for most people with busy lives and other commitments taking up their time. 90 days is a very doable time frame at a very casual, no pressure pace. So let's go with 90 days. So looking at this plan works back like this. If you enrolled in Renovation Planning Academy today, and things went like a normal project, one that's not overly simple or full of delays, but just a very reasonable project if you're doing major structural or other changes to your home, then it could easily take 17 months from signing up for Renovation Planning Academy to when you could conceivably be starting construction. That's not finishing construction. That is 18 months, a year and a half to be able to start construction. It's a bit shocking when you see it like this, yet this is not unreasonable. So if you want a major renovation, you really need to be starting your planning this early. Of course, it can be done faster, especially if you don't need a permit or you're ordering windows from somewhere with a shorter lead time, or there's so many other tactics in order to shorten the overall duration of a project. And that is certainly something I can help you with once you get inside the program. So I don't want you to think that there's no way to do this faster than 7 months. There absolutely is. You could be done in 3 months if it's a simple project. So don't panic. The point and the takeaway here is that starting too early to plan or starting too far ahead is just really not a thing. Having more time to plan and research suppliers is only going to help you so that if you do need a permit and you do want the fancy windows with the 8-month lead time, or you do want to order the fancy bathtub that comes all the way from Italy and takes a year on a boat, whatever it is, you'll have time for it. And guess what? The earlier you start planning and figuring out what you want to do and how much it will cost you, the more opportunity you have to save up for it. In fact, in order to make any decision in our lives, we need context and information. Can you tell me right now, definitively, that you know the budget for your dream home? And can you tell me right now that you definitely know when you could start construction? Of course not. Until you get into the weeds of your project and start putting parameters around what you want and how you'll pull together the details, you really don't know anything. So starting to plan 3 years ahead of time is not going to hurt you. It's just going to provide you with the context you need nice and early to make the best decisions all the way through the process. Imagine knowing how much your renovation was going to cost, figuring out what day it is today, how much money you have in the bank, how many months it is to that start construction date, and therefore how much money you needed to save every month in order to make it there. Or if you knew how much money you could save every month, how many months it would take before you were ready to start construction. I mean, imagine having that kind of information. I mean, that is powerful. And there is no other way for you to get this information other than planning the project yourself. So when you sign up, you'll have lifetime access to this course. So there is no reason to wait until later to get started. In fact, the price is only going to go up with time. This is definitely the lowest price you will ever see for enrollment in Renovation Planning Academy. So waiting for later or, until you think you're ready to renovate is really just not going to serve you well. Okay, so watching that may have given you a tummy ache thinking, oh gosh, do I really need to wait 1 to 2 years before my reno will be complete? That's so disappointing. Or you may have thought, whatever, that's not real. None of that is true. Mine won't take that long. Psh. Or perhaps you thought, well, I don't need new windows, so hopefully I can take 8 months out of the lead time. And I'm not sure if I need a permit. I wonder what else might have a long lead time that I might need to order in advance and plan for. And as you can guess, that final perspective is exactly the mindset that I hope you have. The 17 months timeline I shared in that video was not there to scare or intimidate you, but just to make sure that you're recognizing all the steps that need to be taken leading up to the construction phase, and to make sure that you know that some products literally do take several months and lots of things are back ordered. I want you to know that planning early has no downside, and that you actually need to start planning your renovation so that you'll know the lead times of the products you want and make your final decisions with that in mind. For instance, say the flooring you love has a 6-month back order. Well, when you plan your renovation well in advance, you can either get the order in now, knowing that you won't start construction for 9 months, or you can make another choice if you want to move faster. Planning your project using the framework and process inside my online course, Renovation Planning Academy, is the best way to give you that perspective and help you make those decisions. The biggest factors that affect your timing for starting construction are as follows. First, material suppliers. If you need new windows, like my example, or particular flooring, or a specific wall cladding, or kitchen sink, or IKEA cabinets, whatever it is, you need to know very early on if those materials are going to be available and in stock for purchase, or if they need to be ordered well in advance. I can't tell you how many times I've seen a homeowner choose a particular finish, like say a bathtub, and then the contractor goes to buy it from the shop right when they need it, and it's no longer in stock. So they have to pick something else that's kind of similar, but not the one they wanted, and they have no time to shop around elsewhere or pick anything else. So they just get some crappy secondhand choice, and this could have all been avoided if that material was purchased in advance and planned for. Okay. Factor number 2 is the external parties over which you have zero control. Okay, what I mean here is that your city or jurisdiction and how much time they need for permitting and approvals are not something that you have any control over, right? I mentioned this in the lead time video because this is something real to consider, and you likely can't influence the timing on when they'll approve your plans. The third factor to consider is your team of contractors and trades, or maybe your architect as well, and when they're available to start and how long it takes them. So some of the best contractors might have a year's wait list. So if you want that guy, then you may need to be prepared to wait. Or you can choose another option, right? At least this one is in your control. And the fourth factor is you and how much time you want to spend each day to contribute to the plan. Even just a few hours a week inside my program, Renovation Planning Academy, will result in you having a super detailed, well-designed, and complete plan for your project in under 3 months. So it doesn't have to be years in the making. So those are the 4 factors. Is it possible to start construction within 12 months? Absolutely. You control 3 out of the 4 factors, so you can manipulate those levers and make decisions as you need to. The reality is, though, that it might mean that you have to make concessions on some of the things you really want. Maybe the amazing self-cleaning 8-month lead time windows just won't be an option for you if your biggest priority is speed in starting construction. Or maybe the windows are so important that you're willing to wait an extra 3 months for them to be ready. You're in control of that decision, so it's really up to you. At the end of the day, as I always say, your renovation results will come down to your unique set of priorities, circumstances, preferences, and budget. And nobody else can tell you what decision is right for you because they will never know the connections and importance of those personal factors. So only you can make the best decisions for you, your home, and your renovation. Timing is just one factor to consider when planning out your renovation too. The other 2 elements in the iron triangle are scope and budget. When you consider all 3 together, then you're in total control of your project and you can get the renovation of your dreams affordably in a time frame that works for you. Let me know if you need help getting started with your renovation plans. You can always book a free 30-minute strategy session with me to discuss your project, and I'll help you identify the first steps to take so that you can approach your reno with clarity and excitement. Thanks for watching. If you like this and want more tips on how to plan your own home renovation or new build, then please subscribe and follow me on my other social media channels.